the EOCO and all the angles, the minority members in parliament and also executives of the New Patriotic Party will also, come or join us to explain the legal angles. Will understand it from lawyers who will join us on the platform as well. Later, we'll also bring you up to speed on nurses who have scheduled to embark on a strike beginning next week, Monday. The ministry has also called on them, Labor Relations, have called on them, to rescind its decision or see if they will heed to the call. We have also some statistical report that has come out interestingly indicating that women are less likely to engage in corrupt acts as compared to men. Is this a report that as a country we have to consider and maybe give women more opportunities? Well, as a woman hosting this program, I'll be interested in that as well. Let's cross over to Desmond Okreku Dancer, who is standing by with the briefs of the stories that's in this afternoon. Desi, you're welcome. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Annie. Quite an interesting report.
Yes. Actually, okay. It was done by the Ghana Statistical Service.
Yes, yes. But in general, it says that 18.4% of Ghanaians paid bribes in 2024, and most of them were men. Anyway, we'll get to that.
But my observation... My observation is that women are more likely to also pay bribes, to get themselves freed. We don't like stress.
Yes.
Yeah.
Anyway, I'm sure definitely we'll get into that later on the program. It's time for the news update. I am Desmond Okreku Dancer. We'll take a look at our headlines this afternoon. Mama shows all outstanding allowances owed trainee nurses from January this year will be paid once the new payment system becomes fully operational. Also coming up, minority members in parliament assure they will boycott sitting today, May 30, if Wontumi is not granted a self-recognizance bill and subsequently taking you to Parliament as we speak to our parliamentary correspondent. Also coming up, Minister for Employment, Jobs and Labour Relations, Dr. Rashid Pelpo, appeals to the Ghana Registered Nurses and Midwives Association to reconsider their planned strike scheduled for Monday, June 9. And coming up in our Tiny J segment, Municipal Chief Executive of Ghana Central, Emmanuel Adote Alote, has called on the people of the Ghana Central to uphold good sanitation practices. The details of these and many more coming up this afternoon. Please stay with us. Let's now settle for the details of these stories, and we'll begin from the embattled Ashanti Regional Chairman of the New Patriotic Party, Chairman Wontumi, and earlier on Good Morning Ghana, communications team member of the NDC, Hamza Sunyini, expressed disappointment in the minority MPs who sat on the floor at EOCO to protest the arrest of Chairman Wontumi. He believes people must not defend offenders and wrongdoers, adding that the NPP only attracts such caliber of persons. However, former Member of Parliament for Anyasu Utum, Dr. Dixon Adomaku Kisi, says the Rambo-style arrest of people must stop, stressing that Chairman Wontumi's arrest is political.
If these are the caliber of people that the likes of Wontumi, because people have questions to answer, this is how we allow ourselves, the political class, those of us who ought to know better, this is how we allow ourselves to be used in protecting individuals who actually need to be investigated. Then we are in for trouble. It raises serious question marks about our own maturity and understanding as far as our democracy is concerned. Annie, what are we talking about here? We are talking about Wontumi. This is a gentleman who, for some strange reason and under fraudulent circumstances, we are told, secured millions of dollars from the Ghana Exim Bank, fraudulently misrepresenting that it was intended for a particular purpose and that was not used for that purposes. The money has been traced by our state security. In addition to that, this is a gentleman who for 8 years hijacked activities at Ghana Cocoa Board in terms of the road construction exercise. One of the contracts cost us about $45 million annually. Now investigations are revealing that even after taking these monies in the name of mobilization, these contracts were not executed. There are even serious allegations that the IOCO is looking into, where certificates were fictitiously created for Wontumi to be paid under the guise of actually executing contracts that he never executed with the Department of Federal Roads.
Oh.
In excess of millions of dollars. On the 8th of January, a day after His Excellency President John Dramani Mahama was sworn into office, an amount in excess of 60 million Ghana cedis. 60 million. We are talking about a bail bond of how much? 50 million. 60 million Ghana cedis on the 8th of January was transferred into the accounts of Wontumi.
In point, as somebody was also suggesting, that this is so politically motivated, more so than, in principle, and something that is more of going after the man for all kinds of reasons. But be it as it may, supposing he's a suspect, supposing he's actually committed these crimes, the quantum being demanded in terms of bail, I think, is hopefully too much. And like I said, for some, this is about $4 million. And I'm wondering, should a president be held against his will? I wonder how much a president will pay. I'm just curious, because this is an individual, now private person, who was not even necessarily a government operative in the past administration, except for the fact that he's affiliated with the ruling party and is a chairman of the Ashanti region. So it begs the question, and you see, if you are in power or in position of government, you don't abuse your opportunity in terms of granting bail and the requirements. And the key question is, I think it was ongoing arrangement. This person submitted himself on Monday, on Tuesday, and on Wednesday. So it isn't like he absconded even a day or 2 or 3 or a week.
Yeah, but the Attorney General talked about Justice Remsai was describing how many issues are running concurrently. So you never know
he's presenting
when
himself.
A new one comes up.
Well, and that even makes it necessary to then afford him the opportunity to, have access to his lawyers, and then government ought to put their things together. I mean, what I like about other jurisdictions is that if there are multiple counts, they take their time and even agree on the agency that will strike him.
Mm-hmm.
Now let's head to Parliament, where members of the minority were cited in the chamber earlier today, May 30, for today's affairs after boycotting Parliament on Thursday and are serving notice that they will not take part in proceedings in the chamber until the Ashanti Regional Chairman of the NPP, Chairman Wontumi, is released. The entire NPP MPs were joined by leaders of the party and walked along the principal streets from Parliament House to the headquarters of the Economic and Organised Crime Office in solidarity with the embattled chairman. The minority effectively blocked the entrance of the IOCO head office in their numbers as they held hands and chanted solidarity songs to demand the release of the Ashanti Regional Chairman, who has been in custody for nearly 48 hours. Now, away from that, we go to the President, John Dramani Mahama, and he has praised the Ghana Private Road Transport Union, GPRTU, for its decision to reduce transport fares, calling the move a timely relief for Guineans as the country shows signs of economic recovery. The fare reduction, which took effect on Saturday, May 24, follows a period of relative economic stability with the cedi stabilizing and inflation on a downward trend. Speaking on Thursday, May 29, at the College of Health in Kintampo during his thank you tour of the Bono East region, President Mahama expressed appreciation to transport operators for their responsiveness to the improving economic climate.
Inflation is gradually declining. Investor confidence in our economy is returning, and Ghanaians are beginning to feel a slow but steady relief when they go to the market. I commend the Minister for Finance and the Governor of Bank of Ghana and their respective teams for their dedication and coordination in managing this economic turnaround. And I want to take the opportunity to thank the GPRTU and the various drivers' unions for reducing transport fares to bring relief to Ghanaians from the hardship they were facing.
Now, the President has also assured trainee nurses that all outstanding allowances owed from January this year will be paid once a new payment system becomes fully operational. Addressing supporters during his thank you tour in the Bono East region, the President acknowledged delays in the disbursement of allowances but emphasized that the Ministry of Finance has already made budgetary provisions to clear the arrears.
Thank you. I knew this is the response Alawa is going to trigger. Let me assure you that the minister has made adequate provision in the budget for the payment of allowances. And the allowances will be paid from January. And so you'll get the arrears. When we pay the allowances, you'll receive the arrears. But what has delayed it? What has delayed it is that the minister is putting in a system so that you'll be paid through the controller and accountant general. So that every month when workers receive their salaries, trainees will also receive their allowances. So when that is done, you receive your allowances every month. And then we'll pay you the arrears from January until the time you started receiving the allowances.
Well, the President, John Mahama, has also announced the commencement of construction works on a 54-kilometer outer ring road in Techiman aimed at reducing traffic congestion in the busy commercial hub. Speaking during his thank you tour in the Bono East region, the President said the project is part of the government's big push infrastructure agenda, which seeks to accelerate national development through major capital investments. According to President Mahama, the ring road will serve as a key bypass for heavy-duty trucks traveling to Burkina Faso and other northern destinations, diverting them away from Techiman's central business district.
Infrastructure is central to development, and the Bono East region will not be left behind. Under the Big Push agenda, Cabinet is finalizing approval for major infrastructural projects, many of which are earmarked for this region. And I want to say that under the Big Push, we are prioritizing roads because the state of our roads is in a very deplorable condition. So for the first year, the Minister of Finance has provided almost 15 billion cedis to be invested in improving our road network across the whole of the country. As I said, we are focusing particularly on roads, that are critical for agriculture, trade, and access to essential services. In the Bono East region, the roads that we are targeting include the Asweye-Mesidan Road, the Ofoman to Wenchi Road, the Sunyani to Nkuranza Road, the Techiman Wenchi Road, the Atebubu Kajeji Road, and then also to complete the Kintampo to Prang Road, the Ejura to Atebubu Road, and Busunya to Atebubu Road. There are other roads that we'll also be working on that are not yet included on this list. These roads, when completed, will open up the region, improve market access for farmers, and reduce travel time and transport costs. As stated in the NDC 2024 manifesto, we're also committed to redesigning and constructing outer ring roads in major cities across the country. The outer ring roads will target cities like Accra, Kumasi, Tamale, Takrade, Sunyani, and Techiman. For Techiman, which is a major transit point on the N10 highway, work has begun to open up the proposed 54-kilometer outer ring road. The Department of Urban Roads has initiated engineering surveys and design works to prepare the way for full construction to begin. This project will decongest the central business district of Techiman and enhance road safety for residents and travelers alike. The ring road would allow the big, heavily loaded trucks that are going to Burkina Faso and other northern destinations, instead of passing through the center of Techiman, they'll use the outer ring road and continue on their journey.
Away from the president, we talk labor now. Now, the Minister for Employment, Jobs and Labor Relations, Dr. Rashid Pelpo, has appealed to the Ghana Registered Nurses and Midwives Association to reconsider its planned strike scheduled for Monday, June 9, 2025. The association announced its intention to strike on Wednesday, May 28, citing unresolved concerns over conditions of service. However, Dr. Pelpo has warned that certain industrial action could severely disrupt the country's healthcare system, stressing the importance of dialogue between all stakeholders.
Announced its intention to strike on Wednesday, May 28, citing unresolved concerns over conditions of service. The GRNMA's industrial action will begin with the withdrawal of all outpatient department services nationwide from June 4th to June 8th, 2025. The association warned of a complete withdrawal of all services from June 9th, 2025 onwards if the government fails to address their demands during the initial period. The association has also urged all of its members to wear red armbands on June 2nd and 3rd, 2025 as a visible sign of their protest and a preliminary step before the service withdrawals. The Minister for Employment, Jobs and Labor Relations, Dr. Rashid Pelpo, has appealed to the Ghana Registered Nurses and Midwives Association to reconsider its planned strike scheduled for Monday, June 2nd and rather embrace dialogue. Meanwhile, 4 major nursing and midwifery unions in Ghana have disassociated themselves from the Ghana Registered Nurses and Midwives Association's planned industrial action set to begin on June 2, 2025. In a joint statement issued on Wednesday, May 28, the Union of Professional Nurses and Midwives Ghana, the Professional Association of Psychiatric Nurses Ghana, the National Association of Registered Midwives Ghana, and the Ghana Registered Midwives Association expressed concern over GRNMA's unilateral decision.
And you're still watching the news updates here with me, Desmond Okreko-Danso, and now we do health. And the Greater Accra Regional Hospital has inaugurated a state-of-the-art fetal maternal unit facility aimed at improving care for high-risk pregnancies and enhancing maternal and neonatal health outcomes. The facility inaugurated by the hospital is equipped with various machines, including a high-resolution ultrasound machine for the assessment of pregnant women and their unborn babies.
For some time now, the Greater Accra Regional Hospital has had challenges assessing high-risk pregnancies as it was unable to pick up abnormalities of unborn babies during pregnancy. The state-of-the-art fetal maternal unit facility inaugurated by the hospital is equipped with various machines, including a high-resolution ultrasound machine for the assessment of pregnant women and their unborn babies. Speaking at the inauguration ceremony, the medical director of the hospital, Dr. Ralph Ama, was hopeful that the machines would help reduce fatalities in the obstetrics and gynecology department of the hospital.
We have here called the fetal maternal unit, which is responsible for high-risk pregnancies that we have presenting to us in this facility. This has been necessary because we need to improve outcomes with mothers and outcomes with babies. And these high-risk pregnancies range from sickle cell disease pregnant mothers who have hypertension and have diabetes. We look at using tools like ultrasound and genetic testing to try and look at the outcomes that we would have. And so basically, this highly specialized center, which is a subspecialty within the obstetrics and gynecology practice, is just to help us to come up to speed with what is practiced elsewhere, which we call best practice.
For his part, the head of the obstetrics and gynecology department of the hospital, Dr. Martin Owusu-Boama, said the machines would help with assessing abnormalities of unborn babies, thereby minimizing the proportion of bad outcomes for pregnancies.
We didn't have the kind of ultrasound that you were shown. That's a high-resolution ultrasound that's able to pick certain abnormalities or conditions in the baby in the womb, the unborn baby. But now with this facility, one is able to pick those conditions and formulate appropriate plan for the mother and the unborn baby. Before this service, we didn't have that, but now we have the ability, and that also provides a platform for us to do what we call genetic testing, so as at the end of the day, you can properly counsel women even before they get pregnant. If they get pregnant, the necessary counsel, the advice that they need, so as to sail through the pregnancy successfully.
Now, away from that, national security operatives have impounded 3 articulated trucks fully loaded with thousands of gallons of cooking oil in Kumasi. The incident happened in the Ashanti region on Wednesday, May 28th. There's more in this report.
The Nigerian truck with registration numbers T8082LA, Lagos, Ghana AS388509, Burkina BN8878. Speaking to the media, Head of Special Monitoring and Intelligence Team at the National Security, Hajia Rashida Mahama, said her team monitored the trucks from Accra to Kumasi for the past 4 days. She said for the total number of 6,688 gallons of the oil, the agent only paid duties for only 4,320, thereby smuggling the rest 2,368. According to Hajia Mahama, the agent initially said the goods were being transported to Ivory Coast, but later diverted to Kumasi. She then cautioned agents or importers to do due diligence at the customs office before transporting their goods to their various destinations to avoid getting arrested by the government.
When the call came suspecting this particular trucks, I had to put boys to monitor it from Tema to motorway, and then it was back to custom bonded house, and now in Kumasi. And I want to make sure I do a good job for Mother Ghana. The transits that normally claims they go to Burkina Faso, they end up offloading the goods in Greater Accra or Ashanti region, and most of them comes to Ashanti region. So this time I'm going to be on them. The transit trucks, they should get ready for me. Anytime I see a truck packed more than 2 days, I'll go after that truck.
Now, the West African Women Empowerment Foundation has called on the government to ensure affordable access to sanitary pads, arguing that while sporadic distributions are welcoming news, they are not a long-term solution to menstrual product accessibility. Programs Director for the foundation, Janet Kwache, made the call at an event to mark World Menstrual Hygiene Day here in Accra.
World Menstrual Hygiene Day is observed annually on May 28 to raise awareness about the importance of good menstrual hygiene management. As part of activities to mark the day this year, the West African Women Empowerment Foundation, WAWEF, distributed menstrual hygiene kits to over 200 girls at the Osu Presby Girls Basic School in Accra, providing them with essential education on Menstrual Hygiene Day. Janet Kwache is Programs Director of the West African Women Empowerment Foundation.
As an organization focused on empowerment, we are here to educate the girls and also to share menstrual hygiene kits, which will not end here. We believe that we need to sustain this beyond this day. So we hope to create more awareness, advocate for support for girls and women, not just in Ghana, but across West Africa.
She commended the government's sanitary pads distribution initiative, but called for measures to ensure sanitary pads are affordable in the country.
I think the government have already started a very good policy whereby they will be supplying pads to secondary school and primary schools, which we think is a very good initiative. However, we believe that there's room for more improvement, so we need to make sure that pads become very affordable so that the average person can afford. So we have to start by making sure that, again, we are not taxing pads, and we are trying our best to kind of like support locally produced pads such that it can be more affordable and everybody can afford it. That way the average Ghanaian can afford to buy pads for their children, and girls wouldn't have to suffer during their menstruation because they don't have access to affordable pads.
Other members of the foundation also had this advice for young girls on menstruation.
During menstruation, you have to keep your body clean, especially personal hygiene. Personal hygiene, when you apply it into your life, it helps you. Personal hygiene can also prevent you from bad odor. Menstruation too, you can also drink a lot of water. It can help you, and eat a lot of vegetables.
I would suggest that we change frequently, that is within 6 to 8 hours, that is if you flow heavily. But then even if you do not flow heavily, it is still best for you to keep healthy. So you should take your bath more often and also change your sanitary towels, your tampons, or even the caps more often.
The event focused on breaking the stigma surrounding menstruation, empowering young girls with knowledge, dignity, and confidence.
Now in Tidy GA today, the Municipal Chief Executive for Gas Central, Emmanuel Adote Alote, has called on the people of Gas Central to uphold good sanitation practices in order to enhance a sustainable environment, since the Municipal Assembly intends to prioritize sanitation. He made the call during the handing over of a urinal facility donated to the Anya Sultan Police Station by the Suez Company Limited.
Promoting good sanitation practices across the country was one of the major campaign promises of President John Dramani Mahama prior to assuming office. In fulfillment of the promise, he launched the National Sanitation Day to promote a clean environment. Many often than not, places of convenience in public institutions have become a great concern, since people who have access to these places struggle to use the facilities. The urinal facility donated to the Anya Sultan Police Station is intended to provide a more hygienic and proper place of convenience for both police personnel and the public who visit the police station. Speaking during the handing over of the facility, the MCE for Gas Central, Emmanuel Alote, urged managers of the police station to ensure proper maintenance of the facility and urged corporate Ghana to emulate the gesture in order to promote good sanitation.
What I'm calling upon the police station at Anya is that they must make sure they maintain it in good shape. It should always be in good shape. With what they have done, I think they have shown that they can do more. So we'll team up with them and then ensure we do more in other areas. Like I told you, the Sultan Police Station, the Israel Police Station, the Agbaje, and we're doing more. Aside that, our target is also make sure we have good sanitary, units at the various schools within the assembly, the market, the hospitals, the churches, and so on and so forth. We'll be doing that very much. We'll be doing that. And one of the things that we'll be doing now, we have a lot of tricycles that will be deploying to the various zonal councils, get riders, and make sure we collect all the rubbish, what we call the bola.
The Odokwa Divisional Commander of the Ghana Police Service, ACP Kofi Sapon, promised the facility will be put to good use.
The District Commander whispered into my ears that they are going to have the modalities to help them keep the place clean, as we've seen today. That they are going to have a register. You come, you book for the key, and then when you are done, you return. But there will be someone who, when you immediately use the facility, will come and inspect the situation.
Director for the sales company pledged to build more of such facilities in other police stations and government institutions.
And just before we wrap up, the former independent parliamentary candidate for Nungwa Krowo, Duke Niafote Mensah, has called for a restructuring of Ghana's financial market. He said financial platforms like PayPal are not relevant to the country's financial space. He was speaking at the First Bank and African IEX Exporters Forum here in Accra. Bring you details of that subsequently. That's it for the news updates this afternoon. I am Desmond Okrekudan. So back to Annie Efampo for the rest of the program. Annie. Yep. Annie, your microphone so we can hear.
The whole of this week, what was your maybe highest point in the stories that broke?
I feel I know where this is going.
Oh, no.
It definitely has to be what happened yesterday.
The one to me arrest?
Yes. We didn't see that coming, with the minority protesting and eventually sitting on the floor. And I mean, Jeff was reporting on that. We showed the live yesterday. And when we tried speaking to some members, they give us the no speech, attitude. And then, the whole drama that is unfolding and how things are going. We just wait to see how it pans out. People are saying that, he's now, as the Deputy AG mentions, that he's being charged with fraud and other things. Someone says that if you are being called to the Yoko, why are you driving a Corvette to the Yoko?
No, the interesting part for me is that the way they were committed to, staying there until his release.
Yes.
And then by midnight, everybody
had left.
Abandoned the place.
Yeah.
Yes.
I think the other thing, I remember the story, that was another high one this week. Not Dr. Anne Sally. Or Anne Sansa Dali, that's the name.
Anne Sansa Dali.
Oh, yes.
And that's how it's pronounced.
Yes.
Anne Sansa Dali.
So we know doctor. I mean,
doctor.
We know
Dr.
doctor.
Anne Sansa Dali.
No, we know doctor.
We know doctor. Well.
Okay. Okay. Okay.
It looks like I know what you are also trying to get to, because we have told you that ladies are less corrupt than men. So I'm not sure if...
And it does definitely not it. Please, I was just telling you some of the stories that made the headlines. I got a lot of people talking. I've seen that people are also questioning Rashid Tanko computer of where he got the doctor from. But anyway, we'll keep it like that. And that's it.
Well, Desmond, thank you for your time. We'll get into the rest of the stories later, but let me just remind you that we're going into the Wontumi matter, definitely, and then we'll bring you some more details of it, the legal aspect to explain for you to understand what's going on. We also have nurses threatening to embark on a demonstration, a sit-down strike from next week. Authorities are pleading with them. We'll look into their matter as well, and some other issues having to do with women that reports. Statistical Ghana Service have brought out a report indicating that women are less corrupt than men. We'll look into that as well. Let's take a breather. We'll be back.
Whether you're a wholesaler, retailer, or consumer, MNC Logistics and Trading is your trusted partner in minerals and food commodities trading. Experience the difference with MNC Logistics and Trading for your commodities trading. We operate a well-equipped laboratory that smelts and assays gold to ensure transparent, credible, and reliable minerals transactions. Our general food commodity market deals with imports and exports of food products such as rice, sugar, and grains. We pride ourselves on delivering products that meet the highest standards of quality and taste. With our expertise in international trading and logistics, we bridge customers far and wide. Locate us at number 4 Neosai Interfo Avenue, East Legon, Accra. Call us on 030-299-8246 or visit our website www.mnclogisticsandtrading.com. MNC Logistics and Trading, hub of confidence.
Some movies change the world, and you'll find them elsewhere. Mnet Movies 4 is just in it to change your mood. Great. They turn an ordinary night into something awesome. Make you laugh louder, smile bigger, and feel like a kid all over again.
Yay! This is gonna be so much fun!
The only thing our movies are seriously serious about is making you happy. All month long. On Mnet Movies 4 for the easy, cheesy, silly, funny, snort laugh classic movies of your life.
Join the president of EBID and other leading development experts live on June 3rd, 2025 from 11 a.m. GMT on Metro TV Ghana, DSTV channel 277 and EBID's digital platforms for the president's roundtable on unlocking food security in West Africa through agricultural transformation. Having financed over $113 million in agriculture and agribusiness projects and programs to build resilient food systems across the ECOWAS sub-region, EBID has prioritized tackling food insecurity in the sub-region in its Strategy 2025 with the aim of assisting member states to attain SDG 2 and SDG 3. Dr. George Ejekum Donko, President and Chairman of the Board of Directors of EBID, will be joined by leading development experts to discuss and share their collective experiences and perspectives on addressing food security challenges in West Africa, as well as finding innovative ways to ensure food resilience in the region. ECOWAS Bank for Investment and Development. EBID, transforming ECOWAS communities.
Devotion, let us all unite to uphold them and make them great and strong. We are all in one. We are all in one. We are all in one. And building a motherland. We are all in one. We are all in
All right, we are all involved indeed with every development that happens in this country, both accountability and those who disagree. We're still getting into giving you updates of what's happening with the Wontumi matter as it stands now. He is still with the Yoko, and he's been given a 50 million Ghana cedi bill to fulfill before he will be released. And you've seen what happened yesterday, where the minority-led members of the New Patriotic Party to demonstrate at the forecourts of the Yoko offices. We'll cross over to Parliament, where my colleague Jeff is actually standing by. Jeffrey Atipo will give us up to the minute updates of what's happening in the House today. Is the minority presence in the House? We want to know from Jeff. Jeff, you're welcome. Good afternoon to you.
Good afternoon.
Right. So after everything that happened yesterday, what did the minority do today?
Well, Adi, thank you so much for this question. As we speak now, the minority members are currently in the chamber. As I speak with you now, they are there. Business or the chamber business have begun. I've seen their leadership in minority chief whip Frank Anodonpre is in there. The deputy minority leader is in there, including the first and second deputy whip for the minority are all in the chamber, including their members, same as the majority. So as we speak now, business of the conversation going on in the chamber as we speak, contrary to what we gathered yesterday from the minority leader that they are boycotting parliamentary proceeding or chamber business if the Ashanti Regional Chairman, who is popularly known as Chairman Wontumi, is not released from the Yoko headquarters. So the development now, as I can confirm to you, is that proceedings are ongoing in Parliament and both sides of the House are in there.
So they've actually joined the House to run the business of the House, no?
Yes, and when I came earlier, I tried to make some inquiries as to what exactly or how exactly the minority is going to carry their day. So the indication I gather is that they are going to be in the chamber, but they have a certain statement they want to make. So just after that, they will be leaving to go and continue with their protest or the situation at the Yoko headquarters. That is what I have gathered. But they started not too long, I think about 11 of a few minutes to 11 o'clock, they started sitting. So they are in there. Earlier on, we spoke to the member of parliament for one of the members of parliament on the side of the MP. I'm talking about Honorable Semi Ewuku, who is the MP for Efiapim North. He indicated that, in fact, I told him to him, why are they in parliament today? Because they indicated they won't be engaging in any chamber business. Why are they here? All he could tell me is that we should just wait, whatever reasons that they have to give, we are going to be witnessing it in the chamber. So he's not going to disclose anything, but there's going to be an action from the minority. So that is what he said to me in an earlier interview that I granted with him. So as to what exactly they are going to, actions that they are going to be taking in the next few minutes or hours, we don't have any idea. But just that we are aware that they are going to be leaving the chamber again today, or they are going to be embarking on what they started yesterday, or continue what they started yesterday at the headquarters of Yoko. I'm yet to see the minority leader himself, Honorable Alexander Afenyo-Markin, on the floor. I'm yet to see him, but the leadership of the majority are there, including their leader himself, Honorable Mahama Yarida, is in the chamber, and business is currently ongoing.
So the leadership of the minority is yet to appear in the House, but what about the leadership in the minority side?
Yeah, so and like I indicated earlier on, I've seen Honorable Frank Amodomfe, who is the Minority Chief Whip, I've cited him. I've also seen the Deputy Minority Leader, Honorable Apiaji. He is also in the chamber. I've seen the first and second Deputy Minority Whip. They are currently in the chamber as I speak with you now, transacting business. Just that I've not seen the leader himself, Honorable Alexander Afenyo-Martin, in the chamber. For whatever reason he's not allowed yet, I cannot tell. But his subordinates are currently in the chamber as I speak with you, Annie.
Give me an overview of how the attendance of the House, the today pictures that we're seeing, it doesn't look like the MPs themselves are serious today.
Yes, Annie, I can tell you that the numbers we are seeing today isn't that different from what we actually saw yesterday. The numbers yesterday were not up to expectation, same as today. But I wouldn't attribute it to any situation, particularly with what the intention of the minority. I wouldn't attribute it to that. But the numbers since yesterday for me wasn't encouraging. And today is also a Friday. Sometimes, we see the numbers the way it is now, as it's a Friday, because there are a lot of engagement. Sometimes they engage in committee meetings and the like. So we look forward that probably next week we are going to be seeing the numbers increase from what we've seen. I think the entire week, the representation in the chamber isn't really anything to write about. But what we can say that they just returned from recess, there's a lot of engagement they have to undergo and all that. So we're looking forward that, next week, Tuesday, we are going to be seeing the numbers as we expect.
All right. Jeff, we'll be waiting here for you to bring us the rest of the, updates of what will unfold in the House today as it's the final day of the week. Thank you for your time this afternoon. All right, let's continue with the interview. Well, we will also speak with the Asante Akim Central MP, Kwame Anyimedu. Kwame Anyimedu entry Asante Akim Central MP, and he is joined us via Zoom, if I'm correct. So, Honorable, are you on? Good afternoon to you.
Good afternoon, my dear.
All right, thank you so much for your time. And let me also see if I have Comfort Doyo Kujo Gansa, who is also from the majority side, join us. She also join us via Zoom. Is Honorable Member Comfort Doyo with us?
Yes, please. I'm here.
Great.
Dear.
You're welcome. Good afternoon to you, and you're welcome to the program. Firstly, all right, let me ask both of you. Honorable Comfort Doyo, are you in the House? Are you in Parliament?
Yes, I'm in Parliament. Okay. As I'm speaking to you, I'm just at the Speaker's lobby.
Okay, great. And let me also ask, Honorable Anyimedu, are you also in the House?
Yes, I was in the chamber until.
Okay, we're trying to engage. I'm sorry, you froze for a moment. So if you can come again on your response. I was asking if you are in the House, Honorable Anyimedu. Okay, I think that he's still, on the freeze. So let's engage Comfort Doyo Gansa. Honorable, so yesterday we are taking stock from what happened in the House and how the minority decided not to collaborate because they had an issue, a bone to pick with government, to be precise, Iyoko, regarding their chairman, who is currently being held by that office. How did that affect you as the other side of the members? How did that affect you in any way as far as the business of the House is concerned?
Thank you so much. Yesterday, they left when we are about to adjourn the House. Already, it was the last business of the day, and they just rushed in to make the noise and left the House to the place. So it didn't affect the activities of the day because immediately after they left, we adjourned the house.
So, as a member of Adan, as a member of constituency for Adan, the people of Adan, and also a deputy chief whip, I'm not saying that you're on the other side, but if you were to be on the other side, what would have been your approach to this matter?
No. In fact, they are behaving as if this is strange. This is not strange. Me, as a deputy, first deputy chief whip, I've been invited to Iyoko several times. I didn't make noise. They just wanted to do enquiries, wanted to ask you questions. When I was building the toilets in my communities, some people sent the case to Iyoko. I don't know who is behind it up to today, but I went there, I answered questions, and I left on the quiet. Unturi is not the first, and it's not going to be the last. So if they invited him to come and answer questions, it's a matter of going there, answer your questions. They said bail. So look for people to come and bail you. On the quiet, you come home. But the way they were walking from Parliament to the place, and you can see how tired they are. So when they got there quickly, they sat on the floor. They didn't sit on the floor because they wanted, but they were tired. Because they don't do exercise, they don't do anything, just that they're there and they walk this small walk. Then they were tired and sat on the floor. So it's not necessary. They should rather go to court and argue about the bail. And this is not the first time they have given a bail that somebody couldn't get. They did it to Afoko. They themselves, they did it to Afoko. And Afoko remained in the police custody for 4 good years. So now that you realize that they have given a bail that you cannot afford, is it not the man that wanted to buy Man United and Chelsea? If he doesn't have that money, the money that he wanted to use, they should use it to go and start for the surety for him. So what is the problem that the whole Ghana have to be standstill because one person has been invited to Iyoko? I was also in Iyoko when we were in opposition.
When were you invited to Iyoko? And you said it regards your, developmental projects that you are carrying out in your constituency, Adan.
Yeah.
Why did they let you go after the questions?
No, when Iyoko called my PA, and I had a letter too from the assembly that we were needed in Iyoko. I just complied with whatever they wanted to do. And I didn't make any noise. I didn't, even up to now, Parliament, I'm now saying it for the first time. They didn't even know there was a case that I was invited there. And we answered all our questions. And we left quietly in peace. You see? So they have invited you. If we said we want to fight corruption, then we should allow investigations to go on peacefully and quietly. We shouldn't make noise about it. Or is anybody above the law? Nobody is above the law. If the law catch up with you and you are innocent, just go and prove your innocence. That's all. If the law catch up with you, then they have to deal with you. You see? So if we continue to politicize people that are invited to Iyoko and police station and police headquarters and other things, which means we are not helping and they will not help any government to fight corruption. You see? So they should just relax. I even learned they want to do naked demo. For that one, I will join them because if men are going to do naked demo, which means we have a lot of things to watch. So they should rather cease fire so that we can all enjoy the peace that we are enjoying. If you work with the government and you want to be employed in the government institutions, inviting you to police headquarters and Iyoko, NIB, and rest is a package attached to it. So if you want the enjoyment, but you don't want when you are invited, No, we should stop that.
We
should stop that. They should just relax. If they feel they are the Chairman Wontumi is not treated fairly, they should go to court. Now, how recently? Why have they stopped going to court? Is it not the same people who can run 1 hour to court and change everything at a go?
Do hold on there. Let me engage the honorable member for Akim, Asante Akim Central. So I think he's back with us. Kwame Aimedu Entry. Honorable, can you hear me? Am I audible now?
Yes, I can.
Okay,
if
so
you can hear me now.
So the First Deputy Majority Chief Whip has confirmed that she personally has been invited to Yoko before. And even as a senior member of the House, she never made noise about it. She went, she answered questions, and she left. Why are you not, following cue? Why should a different strategy be applied to a different person when it comes to your party?
Good morning to your cherished listeners. Now, good morning to my sister Comfordoyo. I think she's getting the issues wrong. No person is above the law, and every person must be treated with the same dignity that the Constitution had given us. Now, we are not saying that Wontumi must be treated differently, but the Constitution says that no person shall be held in custody until certain reasons. For instance, if we look at Article 14 of the Constitution, from 12, 13, and 14 specifically. And 14, if I may, I wouldn't want to waste your time.
No, so it's okay.
14.4 specifically. 14.4, Article 14.4 says that where a person arrested, restricted, or detained under paragraph A or B of clause 3 of this article is not tried within a reasonable time, then without prejudice to any further proceedings that may be brought against him, he shall be released either unconditionally or upon reasonable conditions, including in particular conditions reasonably necessary to ensure that he appears at a later date for trial or for proceedings preliminary to the trial. Now, this is an investigative body, and the investigative body had invited Wontumi. Now, the Rambo style with which they attempted to arrest him made us to be very cautious. Now, Wontumi himself drove from Kumasi to the premises of the police. After he had finished with the police, he was arrested in Rambo style to be sent to the Iyoko. Now, he's been kept in custody for 72 hours now. Now, the bail condition they had given Wontumi suggests that this is unreasonable. They just want to detain him. We want the security agency. Now, what we're talking about, they are doing it to Wontumi today. If we are not conscious and we don't talk about it, they will do it to Kwame Enyimadu tomorrow. And the next day, they will do it to my sister Comfordoyo. So, amongst other things, yes, we could go to court. Lawyers have gone to court. But the conditions that they had given, for instance, we can go with the habeas corpus, produce the body in court and tell us the justification why the person must be kept in custody. And I think that when you say that somebody must bring an amount of 50 million cedis and documents to cover that, if you ask me to bring a document that covers, I'm prepared to stand surety for Wontumi because I know that he's not going anywhere. He's a public figure. So we expect him to give, for instance, we expect the authorities, that is the Iyoko, to give Wontumi a self-recognizance bill. In the absence of that, it is not Wontumi who is going to stand surety for himself if they are not giving him the self-recognizance. It's another person. So the other things like, was he not the one who was going to buy Chelsea and whatnot? Wontumi is capable. I know he's capable of getting that. But he is in custody. And we need two sureties to bring building documents to cover an amount, something worth of 50 million cedis. And that's what we are saying, that it is unreasonable. You should grant him a bail condition that is reasonable to the extent that he would appear for further investigations and possibly, if you want to put him before court, to go through the court proceedings. That's all we are saying. Now, amongst the other things that we did by marching to Iyoko yesterday is part of our right. We went there as we are petitioning to the Iyoko that what they have done, they have to review the bail condition. And that's why we went there. So it is one of our rights. And we can choose to exercise all rights, inclusive of going to court, and then also petitioning or demonstrating to Iyoko for them to know that we are in solidarity with our brother.
Do we get the sense that there's not even a single person within the minority rank and file to stand the sureties for him to be released?
We have people are prepared to do that. Like I said, I am prepared to do that, but I will not get the amount that they are asking. So we are getting it difficult, and that's why we are saying that what Iyoko had said or had done by the condition they had given, it is unreasonable. If you are talking about him, that he is somebody who is rich, and therefore you want something substantial, that's different. But I am not Wontumi, and my wealth is not equal to Wontumi. So any person outside the circle of Wontumi who is going to stand the surety, that is what the authorities are saying, that he must have a property worth 50 million cedis. And that's what we are saying, that it is too much.
So we had, I mean, we've made reference to the Woyome matter, which Woyome had 54 million cedis, Ghana cedis surety to, provide before he will be released. We've had the issue of Gregory Afoko that we've made reference to. He even actually fulfilled his obligations, but was not released for 4 years. He was kept in custody. We've made reference to this issue of the Republic versus Mike Nyenaku, who was granted, 200 million cedis bail, and that, persists. Is a history we can make reference to. And we also know that figures that are given must match the conditions against the allegations or the crimes allegations that are being made. So on what grounds are you saying that this is too huge an amount? The security agency have given us detailed or a breakdown of the crimes being alleged against, what's his name? The chairman, the Ashanti Regional Chairman. So why are we not also considering that? And if you insist, why don't you just go to court and seek for that review?
Yes, he's been invited. I also heard my sister Doyle making the argument that you are making, that in the past, people had been granted similar amounts or similar conditions. Now, before, if you are looking at Woyome and other people, I think they had gone to court. If you look at the gravity of the offense, in this case, in your own questions, you finish by saying that it is alleged, or some people. Yesterday, I also read that the Deputy Attorney General talking about money laundering and whatnot. You must, you just don't have to make. You don't have to be speculative. The person had not been put before court. So all of us are just being speculative We don't know what he has done. So that if you want, as an investigative body, what do you have against him? If you are putting him before court, then you can make the argument that, look, if we can release him on bail, it must be on these conditions. Otherwise, if the condition is not substantial enough, then the person may take to his heels, go outside the country, and he would evade. He will not come before the court to go through the trial. It is too early. We don't know what Wontumi had done now. They are now doing an investigation, and that's why we are saying that as an investigative body. So the difference is that in the ones that you are citing, and in Ghana, we are fond of making such, MPP did this, NDC did this. No, we are not saying that Wontumi must not be accountable if he had had a brush with government or government monies. No, that's not what we are saying. But what we are saying now is that his human rights is being violated. For somebody to be kept in custody, and then you grant somebody who is, even if me, now you arrest me, and you ask, the closest person that will come to me would be my wife. And if you ask that my wife should find a property worth 10 million cedis or 20 million cedis, where is she going to get it from? Because even the house
but Honorable, is that not
is in my name?
Is that not an unfair? Is that not an unfair statement to make? You made reference to the Constitution. If every person is giving, some amount of money to fulfill, and you say that is too big, so they cannot do it, what you are doing is you're putting the state in a situation where everybody must be granted bail within their comfort zone, or must be giving an amount that is within their comfort zone. That's not what the Constitution actually says.
My dear, let me repeat what I read. The latter part of what I read, if I may reiterate the point. Especially, let me look at Article 12.2. Every person in Ghana, whatever his race, place of origin, political opinion, color, religion, creed, or gender, shall be entitled to the fundamental human rights and freedoms of the individual contained in this chapter, but subject to the respect for the rights and freedoms of others and for the public interest.
Exactly.
Now,
for the public interest. I am making
14. Yes.
No, I'm still dwelling. I'm still dwelling on the 12.2. Freedom of others.
Okay.
And for the public interest. So no individual has an overriding rights over the public interest. I hope you agree.
Let me add 13.1. No person shall be deprived of his life intentionally, except in the exercise of the execution of a sentence of a court in respect of a criminal offense under the laws of Ghana, of which he has been convicted. Let me know, we don't have to wait until Wontumi is dead. He is sick, he is diabetic, and he's been given an unreasonable condition. Now, the 14.4 that I read, I now may want to reiterate that again. Where a person arrested, restricted, or detained under paragraph A or B of that, for purposes of time, I may not read that, of this article, if the person is not tried within a reasonable time, then without prejudice to any further proceedings that may be brought against him, he shall be released either unconditionally or upon reasonable conditions, including in particular conditions reasonably necessary to ensure that he appears at a later date for trial or for proceedings preliminary to trial. Emphasis is mine. So all that the state institution in this matter, IOCO, would have to do is to make sure that Untumi would appear before them for trial. Is he going out of Ghana? You can get his passport. Bring us your passport. You seize the passport, and that is enough for him to remain in Ghana.
All right. Let me engage Richard. Honorable Comfort, are you saying something?
Yeah, I think Honorable Ayimedu have said a lot. We are aware of all that.
Hello, Comfort Doyo.
Allow the law to. They have given him a bail. They should just go and satisfy that, and then get him out of there. Or while the investigation continue, they should allow the law to work.
All right. All right. Thanks, Deputy Majority Chief Whip. Just hold on there. Let me go onto the phone lines and engage a lawyer. Richard Niyama, he's joined me via phone. Richard, thank you for your time. Good afternoon.
Thank you very much, Annie.
Right. So we're beating ourselves with what the Constitution requires as far as human rights are concerned, with security installations holding persons that are alleged to have been engaged in one crime or the other. And the current situation, of course, is with Wontumi. Explain to us which law did the Yoko break or breach?
Okay. Good afternoon to your viewers and listeners once again. If you ask me if there's any law that Yoko has broken, I would probably say maybe the 48-hour rule, because when they knew that the person was not meeting the bail conditions and the 48-hour was approaching, I was expecting that they would have arranged him before the court for the court to either grant him a bail or remand him. If he is remanded by the court, we will not be here talking as we are talking right now. Or if he was granted bail by the court, we will not be here talking right now. Apart from that, I don't think they have broken any other rule, because I believe they have acted as the law permits them, and they have arrested him, they've granted him bail. He's struggling to meet the bail conditions, but that is how it is.
So let's get that clearly. His failure to fulfill the bail conditions requires Yoko to process him for the courts, for courts to, do the right procedure in releasing him or relieving him. No.
Okay, so it's not automatic that if they had taken him to court, the court would have released him.
Okay.
Because they could have gone to court and made the argument that they need time to continue investigation, therefore he should be remanded. And once he's remanded, the court has remanded him, and nobody can talk about Yoko any longer.
Yeah, okay.
And so that's why I'm saying, if there's any law that Yoko has broken, then probably it is the 48-hour rule. But that is my view, because there are two schools of thoughts. There are other lawyers who believe that to the extent that Yoko or the police has granted you bail, and you are the one who is unable to meet the bail condition, then Yoko has not broken any law. So long as that school of thought also exists, it is possible that they have not broken any other law. That's why I told you that perhaps they have broken the 48-hour rule.
Oh, okay. So the second point you made, if you can make it, a little more clearer. The other school of thought.
What I'm saying is that if the police or Yoko or any other state organization arrest somebody, they are under obligation to send the person to court within 48 hours or release the person on bail.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, my view is that once you have granted the person bail and the person is not able to meet the bail conditions, you are supposed to take the person to court, so that the court can decide whether the person will be remanded or released. To the extent that they haven't done that, then I believe they have broken some kind of law. But I'm also cautious because I'm saying that there are two schools of thought.
Yeah.
Other lawyers have also argued that to the extent that Yoko has given you bail and you are the one who has failed to meet the bail conditions, then you cannot come and say that they have broken the 48-hour rule.
Okay.
It's something that perhaps in future the Supreme Court might have to pronounce on it so that it will be settled.
So that we will have a one, deduction of the requirements. I mean the Constitution. So as it stands now, it means if Yoko continues to hold him, they will probably, if we decide to go by the other school of thought, that we've given you a bail condition to fulfill. So fulfill it, else we don't release him. It means you can say that Yoko still wouldn't break any law, but Honorable is making reference to the Constitution from 12 through 13 to 14 and saying that you are still trampling on the person's human rights.
Well, I believe that is a very far-fetched argument because you cannot say that they are trampling on his human rights when they have said we have granted you bail and go and bring the surety. So that is a different realm altogether.
Right. Richard, I'm grateful for the clarity there. Let me go back to Honorable. Are you still there?
Yes.
Okay, Honorable Emejenji. So,
yes.
So the lawyer is actually, clarifying
so
that once they've given you bail conditions to fulfill, you have to do that.
What I will add to the lawyer's presentation, I respect what he said. I agree with him. But the only thing I have to add is that to the extent that the IOCO had given a bail condition that is so unreasonable to be met,
how do you
haven't granted
Okay,
bail.
hold on. Is Richard still on the line?
Yes, I'm here.
I'm sorry. Can you help me understand what reasonable means? What is contained in the Constitution? What does it mean if the Constitution uses the word reasonable, justifiable in particular circumstances? What does it mean?
Well, when it comes to bail, I think Section 96 of the Act 29, Act 30, which is the Criminal Procedure Code, is what is used to decide bail. Now, Section 96 says that in deciding whether or not you are going to grant somebody bail, you have to consider a number of things. Number one, what is the nature of the offense that the person has been accused of? So I like to give this example. If you are accused of crossing red light, for example, which the punishment you will get is a maximum of 600 cedis to be paid in court, why would anybody ask you for a bail of, let's say, 1,000 cedis? That becomes unreasonable, okay? But when you are accused of, let's say, murder, taking somebody's life, or you are accused of, I don't want to mention the offenses they are mentioning for Chairman to me, but if you are accused of a higher offense, then the court or the officer granting the bail must consider that offense in deciding the amount that you need to produce as surety. Okay. Secondly, other factors such as your social pedigree, yourself, your morality, your ability to return to court, and the likely punishment that are likely to come out of the prosecution, they are all considered. And so normally, either a judge or a police officer, or in this case, Yoko, will consider all those factors in determining a reasonable amount that is needed for you for bail. Now, let me also add that if a police officer or Yoko, for that matter, grants you bail and you believe the amount is unreasonable, you have every right to go to the High Court for the High Court to review the amount for you if you believe the amount is unreasonable.
All right, Honorable Emejenji.
Yes, dear.
All right, so he's made reference to the criminal code and what it defines, reasonable, what reasonable actually will mean.
In this case, any offense that one to me is accused of doing is speculative. We are not sure of any offense that he had committed. When they had done their investigations and they put him before the court, they can now make an argument. But I think at this time, they can grant him a bail. They can even say that bring your passport. If they are afraid of that Wontumi is going to leave the country, they can request for his passport and detain the passport. And that would be reasonable enough. But to say that the person that you consider that his social pedigree, his higher in status, and he is in custody, another person must bring documents to cover that amount. It is unreasonable. That's why we are saying
Why do I get the sense, well,
Nyoko
what you are
must
prescribing, the
review
security
that.
agencies do it sometimes, but that is dependent on the information gathered on
Right.
on the person in custody. However, you sound as though you have more information, or you have as much information to decide on what the security agencies should do and what you regard as reasonable enough, in quotes. You don't think that they have gone through all the information they've gathered, they have a reasonable reason to act the way they're acting? Because they could have taken his passport. They've
only
decided not to
speculate.
do that. There are reasons for that, no?
Why not? Because if you say that the person should appear before you for you to finish with your investigation, and the person, there's likelihood that he might leave the country, the best person or the best way to stop him is to seize his passport. Without his passport, he can't go anywhere. He needs his passport to travel out. So, and I don't, if you look at his pedigree, I don't think that he's going to run to anywhere. Probably they just want to punish him. And the lawyer would understand that granting bail must not be used as a punishment. You don't have to punish him. I think they are just trying to frustrate him. You've granted him bail, and it's difficult for him to meet the bail condition. And I'm told, I'm not one of the lawyers, I'm told that the lawyers and the sureties go, they say that this document, we are not satisfied with it, go and bring another one. They go, and the person that will have to go and inspect the property is not there. These are tactics that are delaying him. We are not doing this specifically for Wontumi, but we are not in the banana republic. We have to make sure that what is good for the goose is good for the gander. Let's make sure that whether it is MPP or NDC, the right thing is done. The person, you are doing investigation. Let us hear from Iyoko the charges they have against him, especially when they are now saying that, because once it gets to Iyoko, then it means that he's doing an organized crime. Mind you, they deal with organized crime. Why is he the only person that is arrested, that had been arrested? If it is Iyoko and they are dealing with organized crime, then we should be hearing more than we are hearing. So we are pleading. We are pleading. They have the law. The law is in their hands. But at this time, I think that especially when the man had already complained, and you also know that he is sick, he has to take medications, he has to attend hospital or clinic of his choice, and he's still kept in custody. It is not the right thing.
All right. Were you on the streets?
So
yes.
If they are,
were you with them on the street yesterday?
Yes,
Why did
yes,
why did you leave the scene till the next day? Why didn't you stay there until the next day?
You wanted us to stay till the next day?
You promised to do that.
Who promised?
Your leader promised to do that.
Our leader.
Your leader promised that you were going to be there until he is released, and that you were never going to abandon him.
Did our leader let us, we went there, and our leader told us we came back to Parliament for a meeting, and we have to meet today and decide on what we want to do. But we first
so what have you decided to do
whether
today?
the bail conditions have been met or not.
Sorry? You're making efforts to meet. Right. You're making efforts to meet the bail conditions.
Of course, yes. If we are able to meet the bail conditions, why not? We don't want Wontumi to be kept in custody. If we are able to meet that, that is fine. Even now, I have made several calls to find out whether the lawyers have been able to meet the bail conditions.
Okay, and what response did you get?
It is only when they are not able to meet. Well, that I can't put that on air, but we'll do the background check and make several attempts at making sure that we are able to meet the bail conditions.
All right.
If we are not to, then we would have to make petitions and then requests to the law enforcement agency to make sure that they review the conditions. Reasonable enough for him to appear before them, for them to finish the investigation. And then if they want to put him before court, for him to appear before court.
Okay. Honourable Member of Parliament for the Asante Akim Central Constituency, Kwame Ayimedwenchi, I'm grateful for your time this afternoon. We'll get back to you to seek some more clarity and follow-ups
Thank you very much,
on your
my
efforts.
dear.
Thank you as well. And then also the Honourable Member of Parliament for Adan Constituency, Comfordoyo Kujo Ganza. Is she still on the line with me? Okay. I think she's already left her. She is also the first Deputy Majority Chief Whip from the majority side. Lawyer Richard. Richard, Niama, are you still there? Okay, I don't have Richard as well. I've spoken with these three people on the clarity, and well, Yoko is still firm on its position as it stands now, and Wontumi is still with them or being held by Yoko. Now, I'll give you statements which were released. Okay, if I can have it right, I have it on your screen. You can read it. Facebook post by Deputy Attorney General and Minister of Justice, Justice Remsai. And first, it says that number one suspect Bernard Enchibu Siakon, aka Chairman Wontumi, is under investigation for various criminal offences, including fraud, causing financial loss to the state, and money laundering. 2 criminal investigations is running concurrently with asset recovery processes to prevent further dissipation of what law enforcement agencies strongly suspect to be proceeds of crime. Let's go for the third one. The suspect is also under the second strand of investigation, which is part of a large international organized crime scheme. For the Economic Organized Crime Office, EOCO, is assiduously working with our international law enforcement partners on the second strand of criminal investigations. Now, this is also a statement from the former flag bearer of the NPP, Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia. I read that to you. He says that I'm deeply concerned about the arrest and continued detention of the Ashanti Regional Chairman of the New Patriotic Party, Mr. Bernard Enchibu Siakon Wontumi, particularly as the charges remain vague and as the charges remain vague. Okay, I'm struggling to read this one, but let me see. The charges remain vague and his whereabouts also remain unknown. Okay, so in a democratic environment as ours, no individual is above the law. Equally, no Ghanaian, regardless of its political affiliation or status, should ever be denied their constitutional rights, justice and due process not optional. They are the fundamental of democracy. So I have been in constant touch with Mr. Wontumi legal team, Mr. Wontumi's legal team since this morning to ensure that his rights and protection, that due process is followed, and I commend them for the professionalism and vigilance. I also urge the Economic Organized Crime Office, EOCO, and all relevant state institutions to act strictly within the bounds or the boundaries of law and respect the rights of Mr. Wontumi as guaranteed by our Constitution. So our deviation from this principle risks undermining public trust in our justice system and weakening the democratic values we have worked hard to build. Ghana must always remain as a nation governed by law and not by arbitrary power. Our republic is stronger when our institutions are both firm and fair. So that's the statement that's been released by the 2024 election flag bearer for the NPP, Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia, and also former Vice President. In solidarity with the holding of Bernard Enchibu Siakon aka Wontumi. Let's take a break.
Ama, nansi mi jeno wo bin enko ye kra o. Ama ma ye bohu se kontomra akija.
Nansi me hu se me nyo basi makra. Ama me kunu ni me into kwankwa. Oh you right. Enye mo ko. Give us JC mixture and the capsules. Aye num bom. En ho asem na mo kana. E boa emma ene meme nyina. Na ma wo ba ye obesima. Na be ma so aye be masima. Ya, we be boa wukru. Ama ne giant sa wo de hye ne botum. Na wanyinya na nim ti sese ne oyi chokwa. GC mixture and a capsule.
A painful battle, one more menu for one and Quadawi if you do
MNC Group is a leading investment holding company with expertise in minerals and food commodity trading, precious minerals refinery, real estate development, and logistics and energy with individually registered companies. Our headquarters is located in Accra, Ghana, with operational offices in Dubai, UAE, Hong Kong, and Guangzhou in China, Johannesburg in South Africa, Virginia in the USA, and Milan, Italy. We connect business markets and drive growth. Trust us to maximize value in every deal. Call us on 0302 551 917 or 0302 551 918 or send us an email mncgroup@mncgroupgh.com. MNC Group, totally reliant.
Food insecurity in West Africa isn't just a statistic. It's a crisis affecting millions, not because of a lack of land or talent, but because our food systems are struggling under the weight of conflict, climate change, and limited investment. On June 3rd, I had the honor of moderating the President's Roundtable 2025, hosted by the ECOWAS Bank for Investment and Development, EBID. Under the theme Unlocking Food Security in West Africa Through Agricultural Transformation, we'll convene leaders, experts, and change makers for a strategic conversation, one that moves far beyond talk into action. From innovative financing to climate-smart agriculture, we'll spotlight real solutions and real commitments live on Metro TV. Now it's a defining moment for our region, so do join the conversation as well, live on DSTV Channel 277 and EBID's digital platforms. Let's move together from insecurity to food sovereignty. My name is Anita Erskine. It would be an honor to have you join us.
The association announced its intention to strike on Wednesday, May 28, citing unresolved concerns over conditions of service. The GRNMA's industrial action will begin with the withdrawal of all outpatient department services nationwide from June 4th to June 8th, 2025. The association warned of a complete withdrawal of all services from June 9th, 2025 onwards if the government fails to address their demands during the initial period. The association has also urged all of its members to wear red armbands on June 2nd and 3rd, 2025 as a visible sign of their protest and a preliminary step before the service withdrawals. The Minister for Employment, Jobs and Labour Relations, Dr. Rashid Pelpo, has appealed to the Ghana Registered Nurses and Midwives Association to reconsider its planned strike scheduled for Monday, June 2nd, and rather embrace dialogue. Meanwhile, 4 major nursing and midwifery unions in Ghana have disassociated themselves from the Ghana Registered Nurses and Midwives Association's planned industrial action set to begin on June 2, 2025. In a joint statement issued on Wednesday, May 28, the Union of Professional Nurses and Midwives Ghana, the Professional Association of Psychiatric Nurses Ghana, the National Association of Registered Midwives Ghana, and the Ghana Registered Midwives Association expressed concern over GRNMA's unilateral decision to declare a strike.
Welcome back. Now we will turn our attention to the threat or warning or caution that's issued by the Midwives and Nurses Association, who are deciding to go on a strike or embark on a strike next week, Monday. I have been joined on the phone lines by General Secretary of the Ghana Registered Nurses and Midwives Association, Dr. David Tinkranchum. For more on this, Doc, thank you for your time. You're welcome. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon to your listeners.
Right. If you can position yourself properly, I'm straining to actually hear you. I think you're a little far from your phone.
Can you hear me?
Yes. Yeah. Fantastic. Thank you.
Okay.
Right. So we have the Minister for Employment, Jobs and Labour Relations, Dr. Rashid Pelpo, pleading with you to consider your decision that you are planning to embark on a strike next Monday. Briefly, let viewers and listeners understand your challenge.
All right. Good afternoon once again. And good afternoon to your viewers. I'm sure we came up with a release and it spelled out copiously our demands. What we are saying is that we have signed a condition of service with the employer as far back as May 2024. Implementation stalled, but by January 2025, we were through with that difficulty. From January up to today, it has not seen implementation. Our issue is very simple. We are not opening for renegotiations or anything. There's no need to renegotiate, but we have crossed that hurdle. All what we are asking the finance ministry to do is to sign the document for us. So basically that's our problem. I don't even see why we should drag it up to this point. We have finished with the negotiations. We are very much aware that the document actually got to the Ministry of Finance even before the change of government. A new government came to being. It is only fair and proper that you allow them to settle. So the first excuse from the various chief directors of these two ministries were that allow a sector minister to be appointed to office. We said, fine, it's good. We allow that to happen. Let's read the budget. We have read the budget. And still, upon several follow-ups, it is not seeing the light of day. Everything that is not fair, okay? Especially when we are very much aware that other unions have had their condition of service recently signed. So basically that is our concern. And I just want the public to understand that we are not against them, okay? We are very, very conscious of our work. We love our work. And we know the ramifications of certain actions and inactions. But we have pushed to the wall, been pushed to the wall. We think that people are taking us for granted. And we find the whole thing surrounding the lack of implementation quite unsettling. And that's why we've taken this course of action. So if you ask, this is what I want the public to hear.
So this is about conditions of service, right?
It's exactly about a negotiated conditions of service, not just a condition of service. We have renegotiated. And what is left for the employer to do is to put a covering letter and send it to control account for it to be implemented. Of course, there are monetary and non-monetary aspects. The non-monetary aspect reverts to the sector ministry And then the monetary aspect is dealt with by Controller Accountant General. And that is exactly what we are asking the Ministry of Finance to do for us. It's not anything difficult. I don't know why we should even drag this.
When you say that you've been pushed to the wall, how far and how hard were you pushed? Did you, go through the procedure? I'm actually making reference to your labor law, and I'm struggling to identify which of the laws your strike is situated in or on.
Okay, we are essential service workers, and if you are very much cognizant with the law, the very provisions that you are struggling to refer to, as to whether we can go on strike or not is another thing. But what I'm trying to let you understand is that we have gotten to our wit's end.
No,
strike
I'm sorry.
Excuse me.
I'm sorry. I don't want you to run over it. Whether
okay, so
whether
listen,
hold on, whether you can go on strike,
which is open to labor unions, and that is exactly what we want to deploy.
Yeah, but are you saying that essential service providers are not bound by the labor law?
I'm saying that we are going by the precepts.
By the what?
By the precepts of the law, by the express details of the law. We have decided that based on the frustrations that we have encountered, as far as the implementation of the condition of service is concerned, this is how we can get the attention of the employer. And I'm saying that
and what are the express details of the law? What does it say about? I'm sorry. What does it say about frustration?
I'm not a lawyer, and I'm not supposed to even walk you on that thread. But what I'm letting you to understand, or what I want you to appreciate, is that as a labor union, strike action or industrial action is one of the tools upon which you can press home the demands for your people. And that's what we are doing. And
yes.
It's not illegal. You can choose to call it legal or illegal. I don't know whether you are in a position to pronounce our action as illegal or illegal. But what I'm trying to let you understand is that we've got into our wit's end, and this is the course of action that our representatives that we represent, the people that we represent, the people that gave us our mandate.
I'm in the position to query you about, not to ask you, to ask you about what law, based on what you're working with, your action is actually seated on. You have to situate all your actions within the labor law. Frustration is not captured here, but maybe some duties or responsibility of the employer must be fulfilled. That has not been fulfilled, and so based on that,
the employer is enjoined to implement a signed condition of service. It's a binding legal document, and it must be implemented expeditiously. It's not something you wait for months and you come and tell me on what basis am I taking a certain course of action.
Yes, but right now you already have an old existing signed condition of service, right?
It has expired. Okay, so let me bring this to your attention. Perhaps maybe you are not very much aware. The condition of service is a living document. It has an expiration date.
Yes.
It expired.
Yes.
Okay?
Yes.
And we renegotiated. All right?
Yes.
The signed renegotiated condition of service is what is not being implemented, and that is where we are.
So
we are done with the negotiations, okay, with the employer, the sector minister, or the sector ministry, the Ministry of Employment, the Fair Wages and Salaries Commission signed that negotiated conditions of service for nurses and midwives, which we also countersigned. What was left was the implementation. I'm saying that that's the stage where we are. And the thing sits on the desk of the finance ministry. So I expect any other person to ask these pertinent questions to the finance minister. Why are you refusing to sign that document that is sitting on your table?
Right. When exactly was the new conditions of service signed? When exactly? I mean, when was it agreed? It's not signed yet. When was it agreed on?
It was, you see, listen, so the thing that you need to appreciate, I'm saying that it has been signed. It has been signed by the sector ministry, the Ministry of Labor and Employment.
I'm sorry, let's take it one after the other. It was signed when?
It was signed in May 2024.
May 2024.
Yes.
Okay, and firstly, when was it agreed on before the signing took place?
We started the negotiations
Yeah.
as far back as February 2024. By
Okay.
May, we completed the negotiations.
Mhm.
And it was signed by the parties that were joined in the negotiation.
Okay, and do you know why some of the maybe factors that contributed to the inability to implement after it was signed?
The factors that led to the inability, of course, well, let me bring this to your attention. A section of our not our members, but some nurses and midwives who are not part of our union took the matter to court. But by January 2025, we have resolved the matter. All right? Are you with me?
Mm-hmm.
And then, but even before then, before they injuncted the process of implementation, it was almost at the verge of it being implemented. I hope you understand what I'm saying.
So,
by the
I'm
time
sorry,
that
I'm
they
sorry.
injuncted
I'm
the
sorry,
process-
hold on. So, some members
Mm.
took the matter to court.
Some nurses, not members,
Yes, some members of nurses, I mean, the profession, I mean,
some nurses
Some
who
nurses-
are not members of the association, but
who are not members of
they
the.
are covered by a bargaining certificate. Yes.
Okay, so they took it to court to injunct the new conditions of service that had been agreed upon.
Precisely.
And the matter has been ruled on in January 2025.
Absolutely.
So it means that the albatross has been removed out of the way. It can be implemented now.
Precisely.
And it has to take this government just about 5 months to go ahead and implement it.
It's not just about, it shouldn't even take 1 week to get it implemented. Listen to me carefully. I told you that by the time the process was injuncted, it was almost at the verge of implementation.
Do you
Are you
know
listening?
what were the reliefs being sought by these nurses who took the matter to court?
I think that is, you want to find out why they took the process to court?
Yep. Yes.
Okay, so they said that we did not consult them. I don't know whether you are interested in that. They said we did not consult them based on the details of the labor law. Of course, the labor law expressly states that if you hold a collective bargaining certificate, you do so in trust of the rest of other class of workers. Now, when you negotiate, or before you do the negotiation, you have to inform them for them to bring their inputs. Now, at the time of harmonizing the proposals, we informed all the legally, if you like, unions that were known to us legally. Do you understand what I'm saying? We invited all of them, and that they brought their input, and we harmonized the inputs, and that was what formed the basis for the proposal of the negotiations. Later on, as I told you, at the verge of the implementation, at the precipice of the implementation, one union came up and injuncted the process, indicating that they were not consulted. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Were they right?
If you want me to go, yeah. So basically, that is how
Were
the
they
process
were
was,
they
was
right?
sorted.
Were they right to have been
Whether they
considered?
were right or wrong is another thing. It was left for the court to pronounce it, but we felt that, I mean, litigating it in court was going to prolong further the implementation. That is why we decided to even settle it out. The judge.
Doc, I think that you have to be fair to respond to some of the questions I'm asking because
Listen
they
to
have.
me, you are
I'm
asking
sorry.
whether
I'm
they
sorry.
were
I'm sorry. Hold on. These actions being taken by some other nurses or union groups, all considered within the profession, have contributed to the delay of this implementation. So when I ask you, I'm sorry, let me land. So when I ask you whether you think that they had a case in what they were asking for, and for that matter, took it to court, I think it would be fair for you to respond that, well, maybe they should have been considered, whatever, because it still has to do with the labor law and what it requires you to do as a professional body, not just as a unit or a union.
It was not left to me to pronounce whether they were right or wrong. listen to me. The case was sent to court. It was up to the judge to pronounce whether the course of action they embarked upon was right or wrong. But the judge suggested at some point during the case briefing, right, that we should resort to out-of-court settlement, which we did. And I'm saying that despite that, it shouldn't take 5 months for such a signed condition of service to be implemented. I don't know why you're going around and making it look as if their process should be counted as part of the delay.
So you proceeded with out-of-court settlement.
Say again?
You proceeded with an out-of-court settlement.
Oh, precisely, and resolve it by January.
So it was not a court ruling in January, it was an out-of-court settlement.
The court adopted the out-of-court. See, when a court asks you to go and settle a case out of court, eventually we will have to adapt the settlement.
The recommendation, yes.
Exactly. So basically that was what happened.
We have Monday, up to Monday, for you to go on strike.
Yes.
Are you heeding to the minister's plea?
The plea is in the right direction, but it doesn't resolve our problem. We are very much aware.
I know that, but I'm asking if you heed to the minister's plea.
To do what? To call off the action?
Yes, so that they take their time to, also settle in.
I don't know how long it must take to sign a document. As far as I'm concerned, the document can be signed this afternoon.
You said the document has been signed already.
You don't understand. I'm saying that parties to the negotiations, when you finish negotiating an agreement, you don't sign it into law. You sign it. But it is up to the Ministry of Finance to sign that into implementation or communicate same to the various agencies that are responsible for the implementation. So when I say it has not been signed, I'm actually referring to the ministries. Maybe you are not trying to understand what I'm saying, or I'm not able to explain myself. I hope you understand what I'm saying. But once the agreement is reached, it is signed by the parties that were involved in the negotiations. That happened. You get my point? But I'm saying that it is left with the Minister of Finance to finally sign it into implementation. And that is what is happening right now. Or, I hope you understand what I'm saying now.
When this government came, was there any time that you raised this matter with them, maybe before until now?
On countless occasions. In fact, if you read the release that was brought out by the spokesperson of the Ministry of Health, they even indicated that we have met them more than 5 times. So, my dear sister, how many times do they want us to meet before they can implement the condition of service?
But if you want the well-being of your professional body, I think that no matter how many times you meet, you should be ready to do that, just so we have a peaceful working environment.
Then they can choose to meet us till their kingdom come. That is not right. That is not how you treat essential service providers. You understand what I'm saying? See, we decided to threaten a strike action, and everybody is calling upon us, oh, why don't you put it down? I'm saying that if they consider our services to be essential, as dictated to by the labor law, they should take drastic action in implementing the condition of service.
And under this government, have you engaged with the Labor Commission?
My dear, we don't even need to go there. But we send them notice to that effect. But you see,
I'm sorry, have you engaged with the Labor Commission under
we send them notice of our cause of action. And I'm told that
before the call of action, did you engage them on this call, before this call of action?
We are essential service providers. And look, if you want to look at the dictates of the labor law, it is even up to the Labor Commission to intervene within 72 hours when an impasse like this is foretold. Don't forget that we are dealing with an employer. An employer must also take steps to protect the welfare of the workers. Do you understand? So it shouldn't even take us alone to notify Labor Commission that we have run into a certain, a difficulty with our employer. So ideally, even the employer itself should be able to inform the Labor Commission that these are the challenges that I'm having. I'm saying that, my dear sister, this is something that can easily be resolved.
Right.
And I don't see why it should even create a problem for people to take any action that will be detrimental to the life and the well-being of the ordinary Ghanaian.
Right, right. Doc, we'll leave the interview here. I'm grateful for your time. Thank you.
Thank you for having me.
Right, thank you. Dr. David Tinkranchum is the General Secretary for the Ghana Registered Nurses and Midwives Association, and having spoken to us about the action that they want to take by next Monday, hoping that maybe the day will come and they will decide not to. Let's see how that plays out. Before I wrap up, let me just give you this report, where a new report from the Ghana Statistical Service shows that men are much more likely than women to pay bribes when dealing with public officers. And the report, which is part of the governance series Wave 1, noted that while 55.7% of Ghanaians interacted with public officials in 2024, nearly 1 in 6, that is 18.4%, admitted to give gifts in exchange of services or in exchange for services. The study also used the phone interviews survey, that's 7,248 people across the 16 regions of Ghana. It found out that 55.7% had interacted with public officials in 2024, and the research also supports that Ghana's efforts in to promote progress on SDG indicate that 16.5 which tracks bribery in institutions, and that is the report that was given to us by the Ghana Statistical Service. Women are less likely to be engaged in corrupt acts than men. But is that not also because men are more populated within the public offices than the women? That also can be considered the numbers. But we'll draw the curtain here on Good Afternoon Ghana, and also the whole of this week. We're back next week, God willing, and we'll be breaking down some of the issues that we probably do not understand for you to get it, and also contribute your quota to the development of Ghana. My name is Ania Fampo. Thanks for watching. Good afternoon.
Mama, guck mal, das ist Paul der Panda. Nicht die Spitze kaputt machen. Der kommt noch.
Schau mal, dein Nachbar hilft dir beim Haus.
Danke.
Ich habe nicht gedacht, dass ich